Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Justin, and I am here at the Off-Grid property, which is 20 acres that I purchased last year here in West Tennessee. And while I'm more of an outdoorsman, I say that I'm a 10% Doomsday prepper. So take that for what it's worth. But today I'm going to talk to you about this. This is my Doomsday scooter. This is a Segway 9-bot electric scooter. I purchased this about a year ago, and I've used it to get around the state parks. I'm reviewing all 57 Tennessee state parks, and so this is my primary mode of transportation throughout all the parks when they let me. Also, I take my kids to school on this and pick them up on this, and so over the course of this year, I've put about 250 miles on this electric scooter, which is kind of crazy to think about. So I have a fair amount of experience, at least with this scooter. Now, if you clicked on this video, you're probably wondering, what in the world are you talking about? A Doomsday scooter? Well, there are some very clear advantages to having a simple electric scooter to get around. The first is that it is incredibly quiet. So in a Doomsday scenario where you're trying to be super quiet, you're trying to be super stealthy, you don't want anyone to know where you are, what you're doing, this, you can't beat it. It makes almost no noise. If you're not within 10 or 15 feet, you're not gonna hear someone on an electric scooter. You might hear a little bit of road noise if someone is going down the road, but again, it's just within a few feet. The electric motor is pretty quiet, and so in my mind, that's a huge advantage. The second is that it can run forever. Now, what do I mean by that? I have a Jackery 1000 portable power station, and I can charge the Jackery with solar and this with the Jackery all day long. It only uses about 10% of that capacity to charge it. But essentially, as long as you have a portable power station and solar like me, you can just run this forever. It takes almost no time to charge too. It charges super quick, and so you can just run this thing for a long time. I think it's a huge advantage. You're not worrying about gasoline because the sun will come out every day and you'll get some sort of solar, and so that's a huge advantage. And then the final advantage is portability. This weighs maybe 40 or 50 pounds, maybe, but it folds up within itself and you can carry it. If the battery were to run out, you just use it just like a regular scooter and just kick and go down hills and just use it like a regular scooter. But it's super portable, so you don't have to have a truck or an SUV. This thing will just fold up and you can literally just put it inside a car and you can hide it. So it's very portable, and to me, that's a very clear advantage. Okay, so let me give you 3 disadvantages to having an electric scooter. The first would be the range. Now, they may say it gets between 20 and 40 miles of range. You're not gonna get anywhere close to that. You're gonna get probably about half. I weigh 195 pounds, and when I ride the scooter on sport mode, the fastest mode, and I go all out 18 miles an hour, that's the only speed I go, I get typically about 12 to 14 miles of range. So keep that in mind. That could be a disadvantage depending on how far you think you might want to go. My daughter, when she rides this, she weighs a lot less than me, and I have her on kind of turtle mode. You could get very far on that range. The second disadvantage in my mind is power. Now this, again, is an entry-level electric scooter for adults. It was about $350, and I think if this has a 300-watt motor, I wish it just had like just a tad bit more, especially going up hills. And so I wish I had like a 350 or 400-watt motor and to get a little more power. Because if you live in a very hilly or mountainous area, this is going to be a struggle unless you really fork up the money. And I've seen a ton of reviews when you get up into the $500, $800, $1,000 range. These electric scooters go 60 miles an hour, have suspension, they're decked out. And so if you have the money, you may want to consider bumping up to not just an entry-level scooter for the power. But again, I wish it just had just a tad more. I feel like it's always just under what I need it to be. And then the final disadvantage is pretty obvious, but is storage. Okay, now there is no storage. It's all open to the elements and there's no storage. I would say the most you could realistically have on a scooter is like a bug out bag. If I had maybe 15 pound, 20 pound bug out bag on my back while I was on this, it really wouldn't change the range that much. I really wouldn't feel it with the power. But if you start adding a ton of weight to this, 40, 50 pounds, it's really going to struggle to keep along with your journey. So there you have it. This is my Doomsday electric scooter. I would love to know your thoughts. What are some things that I missed in this video? Would you consider having an electric scooter versus like a moped or a motorcycle or something like that, or a four-wheeler? There's advantages and disadvantages to each, I suppose, and to each their own. But comment below, let me know. And remember, God's creation is meant to be explored.